Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. Today I have week 24 of my 2020 Project Life album here for you today. I'm going to have one spread with an insert in the middle. So first I go ahead and put my pictures in semi-chronological order. I am using the Studio Calico kit for the month of June. So you'll see I'm going to put the pictures in some kind of order. I am putting the pictures of my kids in school and the drive-through graduation, and I'm going to use those as an insert. I'm just counting to see how many pictures I have. So I'm going to cut the 2 3x4s I have of the daily. I listen to that with my kids, and I'm going to cut that up so that I have 2 3x4s. Then I'm going to look for 6x4 cards from the Studio Calico kit to use behind there. And I'm going to decide which cards I'm going to use as filler cards and what I'm going to use as journaling cards. I did look at the stamp set to see what I could use as stamps because I do try to use the stamp sets into my Project Life albums. I've noticed that once I use the stamp set for the month, then I don't use it again, so I do try to use that. Now I'm going through the 3x4 cards to see which ones I need to use for journaling and which ones I want to use for filler cards. The very left 3x4 card is always my title card, and that's where I have the week number on there. I don't put the dates on the title card because I do date every picture and journaling card. So let's go ahead and start working on the left-hand side of the layout. I'm using black StazOn ink and the Felicity Jane roller date stamp. I do use the StazOn ink to stamp the date on photos because it is good for glossy surfaces and also it dries quickly, so I do like that. I do keep mine open a lot, so I do have to re-ink mine frequently, but that's okay. I'm using some old Felicity Jane alphas that I had left to put the number 24 down. Here's a picture of my daughter and her quote-unquote graduation. All it was we went to the school to pick up her school items because we had been told over the weekend that we weren't going to be going back to school. So I am using the alphas that came with the Studio Calico kit, and I'm going to put grad on the bottom of this journaling card. And I'm just taking the middle portions of the letters out, and some of them are kind of sticky. And I do start from the middle and work out so that the word is centered. After I do that, I'm going to use my Zebra Sarasa Vintage Dark Gray pen to do my journaling. I do like to use gray ink for my journaling because it's not as stark as black, yet it still shows up and is easy to read. So on this journaling card, I wrote, "Poor Kaya, no pre-K for 3 to 4 months and now no graduation ceremony. She decided to dress up anyway and take her graduation picture with Miss JoJo. She has really missed being with her friends and going to school. Now she's off to kindergarten." I'm looking through the chipboard stickers that came with the kit because I do want to make sure I use the embellishments. That's another thing I noticed is that if I don't go through the embellishments in the month, I don't go back to use the rest of the embellishments again. So I do like to make sure I use all those up. I also have printed out the print and cut labels that that are sold on the Studio Calico kit. The print and cut labels are for the silhouette and they match the kit perfectly. So I do like to use those on my layouts to do extra journaling on photos that don't need a lot of journaling, but maybe I just want to write a little something on there. So those are the print and cut, and I'll have that link down below as well as the link to do the Studio Calico subscription kit. I do love this, and I've been using the Studio Calico kits for years now. I want to say I've been using them for 8 years, but now they're called the Documenter Kit. So here I go ahead and date stamp that. The next photo is of my daughter at Target, and I will journal about that in just a second. I am using my favorite roller adhesive, which is the Kokyo adhesive. It's a Japanese brand that I purchased on Amazon, and it's my favorite roller adhesive ever. And on this label, I wrote, "I want a giveaway from Michelle Wong's YouTube channel." I don't typically win things, so when I do win things, I like to document them. And these are the best lip balms that I've ever tried. And I do have a beauty YouTube channel that I do, and I won that through my beauty YouTube channel. I do have a YouTube channel and an Instagram for all of my things beauty. If you're interested in looking at that, I will have those links down below as well. Okay, so on this next journaling card, I put Kaya's bag to go to Target for a graduation gift. So we went and she strolled the aisles trying to find the perfect gift. When she narrowed it down to 3, she sat on the floor to look at them more closely before she made her decision. The nail stamper won. And I also used the chipboard that says favorites and put that above the date on the photo of her sitting on the floor. Now, this girl is very strong-minded. Once she makes a decision, she usually sticks to it and can't be swayed. She can't even be swayed by my opinion, which means she's going to make a great adult because she won't give in to peer pressure, but she is quite spicy and not always the easiest to parent. But I love that girl so much. So anyway, after I do that, I'm going to go through some of the other embellishments that came with the kit. I'm going to use the butterfly stickers and use that on throughout the layout. I'm going to put 3 on the one of the dates of the temperature, and I did that because it was so hot in San Diego. It was 90 during the day and it was 81 degrees at night. That is so hot, and with being in perimenopause, I get those hot flashes. Being hot stinks. That's the one thing about getting old that I do not like, is that going through all of the perimenopause symptoms, but I don't mind getting older. Just, you know, Koreans think wisdom comes with age. So I'm going on to the right-hand side of the layout, and here's a photo of all of my kids, and they're on their iPads, but I didn't really need to do that much to that photo. I did put that chipboard that says summer on the top, and on the bottom journaling card it says every summer has its story, and I documented this summer is the story about COVID-19. This virus has disrupted the lives of everyone in the world. Social distancing is keeping us at home, not being with friends, and a lot of time indoors. Now that distance learning is done, the kids have been on their electronics more. And I am trying to still monitor the amount of time that they have on their electronics, but I will tell you, without having their friends to go and do things with, it's been a little bit harder, so I've been a little bit more lenient. But once school starts in a few weeks, that I'll have to crack down again. So I do go ahead and finish journaling that and date stamp that as well. I also like the VersaFine ink pad to do fine stamping on just regular paper. Now this next journaling card says time to relax, and I journaled, school is officially over, although I don't think the kids learned anything via distance learning. Now summer vacation can truly begin. It was a little bit of a challenge for me to get my kids to do all their distance learning before they would start playing or doing anything else in the morning. And I noticed that for my older kids, they were online doing schoolwork for about an hour to an hour and a half a day. And my third child, it took him about 2 hours a day. And that's just because he wasn't so motivated, you know what I'm saying? But if I sat with him, it did go much faster. Then I'm putting this chipboard of the star on top of that picture. And then the next picture is of an Instagram post that I did to do a giveaway for when I reached 300 subscribers. And I documented on the journaling card my first giveaway for 300 subscribers. And you'll notice that I'm doing this upside down. Oh, I hate it when I do that. I was distracted because I was cropping with a friend. So I pulled that off, and I'm trying to do that. I even stapled it using a tiny attacher. And once I noticed it, I pulled that off, and I'm going to use another label to journal on there and then staple it with my tiny attacher. Now I do like to use my tiny attacher with my labels to add it, to give it just a little more dimension on my layout. Then the picture on top is of my daughter doing FaceTime with one of her friends from preschool, and it's a boy. Oh, her first phone call. Well, they don't just do phone calls like we used to do when we were younger, but this is her first phone call, FaceTime with a boy. She's only 5. Ay, ay, ay. The mom of this boy kept texting and saying that he wanted to FaceTime her or meet at the park, but we were social distancing, so we just did a FaceTime date. So on this journaling card, it says, on my mind, this. Kaya FaceTime with Tyler. On my mind, this. Why is a boy wanting to FaceTime Kaya? They're only 5 years old. And then the last journaling piece is this an indicator of what the future holds? Boy crazy already? Guess the apple but doesn't fall far from the tree. I do remember being boy crazy from a very young age, so but I was not allowed to date, so it got me nowhere. Just wasted time spent thinking about boys. And of course, my daughter will not be allowed to date either. Now, this last photo is of a screenshot of the daily that I love to listen to, and I'm going to use my tonic 6-inch tonic guillotine to cut off a portion of that photo. I love this guillotine, especially for doing Project Life, because then I don't have to use a 12 by 12 kind of a paper trimmer, and it cuts beautifully, and it's self-sharpening, so I don't need to get replacements for that either. So it works great. Now, the reason I decided to journal this is because it talked about the struggle to teach from afar, and this is a concern that I have because how are kids supposed to learn through distance learning, especially from what I noticed over the last few months that the kids were in school? I feel like they didn't learn anything at all. This podcast interviewed some teachers that are concerned about distance learning, and I wrote, "It worries me that teachers are struggling with distance learning. I can't homeschool. I don't have the patience. Will the kids be prepared for college?" And that is one of my concerns. Now I'm going through and using the butterfly sticker again, and I'm going to put that onto that photo of the daily and also the one of the giveaway. And I close my Stays On ink pad to work on my insert that I'm going to use, but I'm showing you what the layout looks like, my done layout, before I move on to the insert. Now for the insert, I am using a 12 by 12, and it's got the 6 4x6 page protector, but I am cutting off the right hand side, so then I have 3 4x6, 3 up of the 4x6, and I'm using my Caterpillar Pro, which is my favorite trimmer of all time. I've gone through many trimmers, and that isn't the favorite. It's self-sharpening as well, and it also has an LED light, so you know exactly where you need to trim the paper, and it does the tiniest sliver of papers as well. So I put these pictures of my kids' last day of school in, and I just love it that my third son is in his pajamas, because really that's what school looked like for us. Now on the back is pictures of my son's drive-through graduation, and I'm putting this chipboard right in the middle of this 4x6 journaling card, and on the bottom I wrote, "Christian's 5th grade drive-through graduation. He's so shy and such a rule follower that he wouldn't get out of the car to talk to his friends, and he's been missing them so much." And I'm going to date stamp that, and that is done. That is my insert. Now I am going to put an Avery index tab onto this insert, and I am going to stamp it with Loved Our Day. I can't remember which stamp set that comes from, but if I do remember, I will try to remember to link it down below. So there's my insert, and there you have it. That is my week 24 of my Project Life album. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.